目標なんだ。離れていてもそれぞれの思いが強ければ強いほどつながるんだ。モノラマ、今度こそ決めるぞ。来るわよ、オンバーン。ドラゴンダイブ。4。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episodes 103 and 104, otherwise known as the 1 hour special. I think I got confused earlier and accidentally watched episodes 103 and 104 of the Best Wishes series. Sorry if that caused any confusion. If I could make my emotionless trainer art wink, then I would be winking right now. Anyways, in this video I'm going to be recapping Ash and Clement, the Great Friendship Training, in Ultra Class versus Elite Four Drasna. These were the 1188th and 1189th episodes of the Pokemon anime. Those aren't exactly milestone numbers, but these episodes did come out on a big milestone day for the Pokemon anime, since April 1st was the 25th anniversary of the anime. To celebrate the occasion, myself and a lot of other content creators made our combined list of the top 25 battles in the history of the Pokemon anime, and that video is out now on Lumio's trainer Zach's channel. I would so recommend you go watch it if you haven't already. And once you do, check out the behind the scenes video that I posted. I can give all the background details for how we spent 10 months working on that collab. It really was a massive project. I actually spent several hours over on Discord today discussing the rankings and how we determined who gets what battle and all kinds of stuff related to the project. Feel free to join my server and ask me anything, even if it's something as random as what battle did JPR personally rank as the 19th best battle. I have the data and I can answer that for you. Anyways, this intro is already going on for way too long considering how much there is to talk about today. I haven't even mentioned the special preview that everyone is freaking out about, so I better just get into the episode breakdown and get this video started. Episode 103 opens with a quick recap of the World Coronation series. Both episodes started with one of these, as expected. Ash and Go have already flown into Lumio City, and we go inside the airport. Ash next to one of these escalators reminds me of a certain traveling companion. That's right, Clement and Bonnie. No mention of Serena here. Today, Ash is going to meet up with Clement and Bonnie at the Lumio's gym, but he sees something on TV that catches his attention. We didn't actually see Ash get his battle notification for his next match, so this was the way of introducing his next opponent, Drasna. Ash is surprised to see himself mentioned in the ad, and they even go on to build him up as a pretty big deal, which was nice to see. Even Drasna herself has praised for Ash, another nice touch. The TV cuts away from that ad by showing a little animation with Diantha and her Gardevoir. It's just a small cameo and doesn't really mean anything. I think if she was in the Masters 8, we would have gotten that confirmed in this episode, but unfortunately that must not be the case. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention why Ash split up from Go there. It's because Go went off on his own to catch some Pokemon, and he runs into a Froakie, who isn't getting caught without a fight. Bonnie shows up out of nowhere, and she gives Go some advice on how to handle a Froakie. We'll check back in on them later. For now, Ash has arrived at the Lumio City gym, and inside we see Clement wrapping up a gym battle against some random trainer. Ash makes his entrance, and he and Clement waste no time talking about Ash's battle against Drasna, and the two friends decide to send out all the rest of their Pokemon. It's always nice to see everyone's team. Wait, is that a Diggersby? Clement explains that his Bunnelby evolved, while Ash explains that his Dracavish is a rare fossil Pokemon from Galar. Clement spends most of the next scene getting hugged by Dragonite, which was pretty funny, but everyone turns their attention towards Sirfetch'd, who is practicing something on its own. They don't know it yet, but Sirfetch'd is learning Meteor Assault, which involves sending a ton of energy from Sirfetch'd's body to the end of its leak. Dracavish is awed by this and ends up biting the end of Sirfetch'd's leak. We would find out throughout this 1 hour special that Dracavish is easily amused by things that sway and look pretty. Sounds kind of like a cat if you ask me. Anyway, Sirfetch'd is fed up with this and just launches a full-on Meteor Assault with Dracavish at the business end of it. Meanwhile, Go is still locked in with his face-off against Froakie, but this experienced Pokemon trainer knows how to catch a Pokemon and eventually succeeds. I would also like to take this time to say that anyone annoyed or frustrated by Go catching a Froakie just makes me laugh. Some of you are just weird about certain things. Anyways, Go and Bonnie both say they're headed towards the gym, and that's when they realize that they both know Ash. A fun moment, even if this kind of thing happens all the time when Ash's friends first meet each other. Back at the gym, Clement is in the zone and figures out that Sirfetch'd is learning Meteor Assault, and oh boy, here we go. The future is now thanks to science. Some Clemantic gear is put on Sirfetch'd, and we see Clement's newest invention, which Bonnie is immediately over already because she knows it'll probably just blow up. Clement and Go introduce themselves, and we see that the reason Bonnie was out earlier was because she was picking up some Lumio skelettes for Ash to eat. Bonnie immediately is all over Ash's Dracavish, and yeah, it makes sense that Bonnie would be super into this kind of Pokemon. Time for the training to start, and we get a long scene of everyone using Clement's invention to help figure out what's going on with Meteor Assault. I'll be honest, this made basically no sense without subs, and even after watching the subbed version, it's still a little complex, so I'll do my best to simplify it. Basically, Sirfetch'd needs to be perfectly stable in order for the energy to transfer from its body to the end of its leak, and the reason it hasn't perfected Meteor Assault already is because it can't keep the end of its leak stable. The reason that Sirfetch'd can't do this already is because it's not fully used to having to carry around more weight after evolving, so that's why it doesn't have perfect coordination between its body and its leak. They speculate that the reason Sirfetch'd was able to use Meteor Assault earlier was because Dracavish biting the end of its leak held it in place, therefore stabilizing Sirfetch'd and its leak and making it much easier for it to transfer the energy. Ash knows what to do in order to help train Sirfetch'd, and he borrows Clembot's flags to do so. I also like the little detail of Lucario just being bored and deciding to do a little sparring on its own in the background. Ash and Sirfetch'd practice the motion of storing up and releasing energy. I'm honestly not surprised Ash is able to do stuff like this anymore since he has matured into basically a move tutor at this point in his Pokemon career. He tells Sirfetch'd that when he focuses on his opponent during a battle, it's like he doesn't notice anything else around him, and if Sirfetch'd has that kind of focus too, then it will be able to hold its leak and shield much easier. Just when Sirfetch'd is starting to make some real progress, Dracavish jumps in again, but now that it has Sirfetch'd leak locked into place, Sirfetch'd is able to unleash another massive Meteor Assault, and this overloads the Clemantic gear with so much energy that it just explodes, much to Go's shock and Bonnie's expectation. Once all the smoke is cleared, Go puts on his Bill Nye the Science Guy hat once again to give a very kid-friendly explanation of what is going on. He uses this metaphor about how Dracavish biting onto Sirfetch'd leak while it's preparing to use Meteor Assault is like riding a bike with training wheels. Yeah, I guess that explanation works, but anyways, it's at this moment that Ash challenges Clement to a practice battle, a double battle with Dracavish and Sirfetch'd teaming up against Luxray and Diggersby. There's not really much to this battle, and since this review is already running long, I am just gonna skip most of it. Basically, Ash's Pokemon one-shot Clements with Sirfetch'd using Meteor Assault to perfection, while Dracavish learns Dragon Rush out of nowhere. Basically, what this accomplished was showing that these two Pokemon are in fact very strong, and this training session has given them each a new devastating move to use. These two have bonded a lot because of this experience as well, and Ash announces that he is going to use them in his battle tomorrow. Ash isn't the only one training for this matchup though, as we cut to a scene of Drasna sparring with Wickstrom to end the episode. Drasna's Altaria is shown using Heat Wave, which was really strange in all honesty because it used 4 other moves in the next episode but not Heat Wave, so why show us Heat Wave now if it was immediately going to forget it? Anyways, let's not worry about the minor details like that. This was just a quick scene to set up that Drasna was going to be ready for Ash tomorrow. That's where episode 103 ends. Let's get straight into the episode 104 breakdown. We are immediately at, did this place have a name? It's the stadium in Lumio City where the Kalos League was held. You guys know where I'm talking about. Ash is preparing inside one of the rooms of the stadium when Wickstrom comes to greet him. His knightly mannerisms are on full display as he commends Ash's Sirfetch'd for evolving, but just when he's about to ask who Ash's other Pokemon is, Drasna makes her appearance. Both Drasna and her Altaria share the personality trait of coming off very unassuming and innocent at first, but that's actually the opposite of what they are like deep inside. To that point, Ash and Drasna shake hands, excited for their battle, but Drasna crushes Ash's hand and scowls at him that she plans on putting an end to his little winning streak. Yeah, Drasna isn't exactly some innocent old lady, now is she? Alright, let's get to the battle. As the two competitors make their entrance, Clement explains what I was just saying about Drasna's devious side, and Bonnie reveals that Clement battled Drasna once, and she wiped the floor with him. Enough build-up, let's get this 2v2 started, as Ash chooses Sirfetch'd while Drasna calls out Noivern. They start off with a Super Fang vs Brutal Swing collision, which Sirfetch'd is able to win by blocking Noivern's fangs with its shield, allowing it to land a direct hit. Drasna counters with Boom Burst, which is so powerful that it breaks up pieces of the battlefield and causes Sirfetch'd to drop its shield. When it attempts to retrieve it, Sirfetch'd just gets blasted by a Dragon Pulse, which causes it to lose a hold of its leak, leaving Sirfetch'd defenseless. Drasna follows up with another Boom Burst, but this kicks up some more rubble along with Sirfetch'd's leak and shield, giving it the chance to grab them back. Noivern is readying another Dragon Pulse when Ash calls for Meteor Assault, and Drasna tells Noivern to block instead of attack. Somehow, it pretty much blocked the Meteor Assault entirely, but I think it did take some damage from this, even if it didn't exactly look like it. Noivern was still holding onto that Dragon Pulse though, and it's able to drill Sirfetch'd head on with another attack. Sirfetch'd is able to stay in the battle, but Meteor Assault is a move that requires the user to recharge after using it, so Ash smartly recalls Sirfetch'd at this point. I thought this episode did a good job overall of not having the people in the stands take away too much time from the battle, but I do want to highlight Go asking the ridiculously stupid question of who Ash's second Pokemon would be. Did he black out after the last episode or something? Obviously, Ash's second is Dracavish, and they dive straight in with an Ice Fang versus Super Fang collision. I have to praise Drasna's strategy here because Super Fang is a pretty excellent move to lead off with, and that's exactly what she did against both of Ash's Pokemon. Smart. However, Dracavish did just land some super effective damage to an already worn out Noivern, so Drasna decides it's her turn to switch out her Pokemon. She sends out her Altaria, and Dracavish stares it down, easily amused once again by something else swaying in the air. This time, it's whatever you call the things that hang off the top of Altaria's head that have got Dracavish's attention. It charges in to bite them, but when Ash calls for an Ice Fang, it is easily countered by a Cotton Guard. Drasna seems to be in complete control at this point, and apparently this is pretty similar to what happened to Clement when he battled Drasna. Drasna is going to keep applying pressure though, deciding that now is as good a time as any to Mega Evolve her Altaria. Ash tries to land a hit on it, but Altaria is just too quick, dodging Dracavish's attacks and landing a Sky Attack. Drasna won't even take a second to relent though, she immediately calls for play rough, and was it just me or did Dracavish look like it was enjoying itself in the middle of this super effective move? Ash finally has one of his mid-battle epiphanies and decides to use Water Gun of all moves. At least it looks a little stronger than before, and it's actually enough to stop Altaria in its tracks when it was charging up another Sky Attack. Now its fluffy plumes are soaked. Ash capitalizes on this by using Dragon Rush? Not great. Dragon-type moves no longer affect Altaria because it turns into a Dragon Fairy type when it Mega Evolves. I'll let Ash off on this one because I'll be honest, I don't expect him to have Mega Pokemon type changes memorized, especially considering that he's never even seen a Mega Altaria before. Dracavish and Altaria meet head-on with a Breaking Swipe versus Ice Fang clash, and Ash decides that he better recall Dracavish in the situation. Sirfetch'd comes back out, but so too does Dracavish. It popped out on its own because it wanted to cheer on its friend. Ash goes straight in, using Meteor Assault to go up against Breaking Swipe. We get the customary explosion, and guess what? This attack actually KOs Mega Altaria. Whoa. This wasn't a total shock though. I mean, like Clement mentioned, Altaria had been getting hit with multiple attacks already, and of course Meteor Assault is the strongest move that Sirfetch'd can learn, so this knockout made sense to me. Speaking of knockouts, Sirfetch'd can't go on either, fainting after giving Ash the lead. Clearly, it had put all the rest of its energy into that Meteor Assault. Ash recalls it, only for Sirfetch'd to jump right back out, wanting to support Dracavish just as it did for Sirfetch'd. Wow, I didn't expect to see these two turn into the most wholesome of friends. Drasna sends Noivern back out, and you can tell she means business. Noivern gets the better of a Dragon Pulse versus Dragon Rush clash, and Drasna keeps up the pressure by calling for Boom Burst. Thanks to Ash and Sirfetch'd's encouragement, Dracavish is able to power through and build up one massive Dragon Rush. All Drasna can do is counter it with Dragon Pulse, and wow, the anime sure loves their fancy dragon animations. The ensuing explosion is predictably the climax of the battle, and we get a classic showdown between the two Pokemon, but Dracavish is the last one standing, winning Ash the battle. The celebration is on for Ash's team, and this victory brings him up to 9th in the rankings. That's one spot away from breaking into the Master Class. Cut to the post-match pleasantries to end the episode, and I feel like something has been missing this whole time. What could that be?
どうしたのユリカ？
ユリカ決めました。ドラセナさん、お兄ちゃんのお嫁さんにシルブプレー。
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Thanks, Bonnie. Clement isn't as excited about this latest development, and the episode ends with a very lighthearted moment after a somewhat serious battle. Wow, that was quite the lengthy recap. I don't think my discussion section is going to be too long here, if I'm being honest. Starting with episode 103, I thought it was a great reintroduction of Clement and Bonnie into the show, and their returns did a great job supporting both Ash and Go. Obviously, Go was not the focus of either of these episodes, but that's fine. This was Ash's time to shine, and perhaps more accurately, this was Sirfetch'd and Dracavish's time to shine. I wouldn't call these two the weakest members of Ash's Journeys team per se, but certainly in terms of development and memorable moments, they were beginning to lag behind the rest of Ash's Journeys team, but this 1 hour special changed that, no doubt about it. Ash teaching Sirfetch'd Meteor Assault was perfectly fitting with Ash and Sirfetch'd relationship up until this point. I especially like when Sirfetch'd was having flashbacks to Ash's advice when it was mastering Meteor Assault. You could really tell that Sirfetch'd was working hard for Ash. The other thing this episode did really well was build up for Ash's battle against Drasna. I love the scene of Ash watching the TV advertisement for their battle, and Drasna training at the end was another nice detail. Since this episode did a great job in building up 2 of Ash's Pokemon and building anticipation for Ash versus Drasna, I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10 rating. Okay, how about episode 104? Before I dive into the battle itself, I did want to shout out how Wickstrom and Drasna were both great in this episode from a character perspective. Wickstrom did not need to be here in the slightest, but it was cool seeing him react to Sirfetch'd's greatest triumph so far. As for Drasna, I absolutely loved the way she was portrayed in the anime. Her calm, elegant demeanor was contrasted perfectly by her harsh and unrelenting competitiveness, and I thought this made her a great opponent for Ash. This was the first time that Ash has ever defeated an Elite Four member, but I certainly didn't come away from this episode thinking that Drasna was weak. On the contrary, I thought she was a great Ultra Class opponent for Ash. Let's talk about the battle. I'm not quite sure if we have ever seen a battle like this one before. I certainly cannot think of a similar battle from the anime's past that I can compare it to, and I think because of that, I totally understand why this battle has some people feeling like Pikachu, while some others probably had a reaction more like this. As for me personally, I am coming down on the side of really enjoying this battle. Both trainers and their Pokemon were really going all out for this one, but the battle was not super serious the entire way through. It had moments of levity, like Ash's Pokemon coming out of their Pokeballs to cheer for one another, or the moments when Ash realized that Mega Altaria was part Fairy type. At other points, I was super invested because of the dramatic music and Drasna's unrelenting battle style. If I had to name my biggest issue with this battle, it would be the pacing. I think that a 2v2 battle lasting an entire episode can sometimes be a big ask, and it is definitely a difficult task making it look like Pokemon are taking damage, but also being able to hang in there and continue battling. Without a doubt, Sirfetch'd took more damage in this battle than it probably ever has before, yet it still kept getting back up. Dracovish was also pretty resilient despite the fact that it went down without much trouble when Iris's Haxorus KO'd it. I know this has caused some people to cry plot armor and whatever other generic excuses people like to use for not liking anime battles. I don't really ever think that way. Instead, I just take this battle as an example of how far Sirfetch'd and Dracovish have come. Like I already mentioned, this 1 hour special did a fantastic job of making these Pokemon look to be on par with the rest of Ash's Journeys team. I love that they were each able to stand up to Drasna's attacks and also dish out powerful moves of their own. This battle came down to the wire, and Ash barely won. Now every single one of Ash's Pokemon has had some highlight in the Ultra Class, except Dragonite of course, but I am sure that its time will come. It was a very Ash thing to do by defeating a trainer who was using Mega Evolution without using it himself. That's what he did all throughout XY. The fact that he just ranked up to 9th place in the World Coronation Series by winning a battle without any of his 3 game-changing battle techniques just goes to show how well-rounded he and his team are. I don't think this was an all-time great battle or anything, but I still really enjoyed it. On the back of that and the other fun moments in this episode, I'm giving this episode an 8.5 out of 10 rating. Overall, a really fun 1 hour special, and a fitting way to celebrate the anime's 25th anniversary. Let's tackle the preview for the next episode before we talk about anything else, and it's finally time for Licia to show up and do some contest scouting. It looks like she's going to rope Chloe into competing in a contest, but I am just expecting this to be a one-time thing for Chloe. Perhaps more interesting to me is whatever is going on between Ash and Wallace. I can't wait to see their interaction. This looks like a fun episode, and I have no doubt that the Sylveon is Licia's. Don't get your hopes up about it being Serena's Sylveon. Okay, let's dive into that special preview, shall we? I really wish this had aired on a different day, but I'm assuming most of you don't want to hear me complain about this right now, so I'll save the venting for my Discord or something like that. Instead, let's break down everything in this preview, and it's about the little details in this one, such as Ash wearing his Z-ring in the shot. I wonder what the occasion is. I know exactly what the occasion is for this scene of a water drop. That's some Bond phenomenon stuff right there. Has anyone figured out what this shadowy figure is behind Pikachu? I still can't figure out what that thing is. I think Paul returning may be the thing I am most looking forward to out of this preview. I wonder if he could be Ash's final Ultra Class opponent. I have no clue whose Garchomp that is and why Dragonite is fighting it, but I can say for certain that this is Ash's Greninja, and it looks like he and Mega Lucario will team up to continue the fight against the giant rock's evil roots. It looks like Greninja's return really is going to center around Ash and Lucario, with Ash already wearing his Mega Gloves when he's having this weird telepathic meeting with Greninja. Moving on from everyone's favorite overhyped frog, it's a little disappointing that some of the Chloe content in this preview is just what's happening in the next episode. I wonder what will happen once Chloe and Eevee have met all the evolutions. I'll take any excuse to get another video where I can put Ash returns to Alola in the title, and whatever is going on here looks pretty exciting. I said I was most excited about Paul earlier, but I think Suicune runs it close. I cannot wait for this episode when Go's Suicune returns. It looks like Go and Horus aren't done teaming up, and I'm guessing this is just another shot from the Greninja episode. Team Rocket are starting a podcast? Hey, I would listen. This legitimately might be my favorite image from the entire preview, I'm not gonna lie. And this just looks like a reused animation from Ash and Falkner's battle, but I hope this is an entirely new battle. And that is it for the special preview. Not a lot of in-depth analysis, I know, but at this point, the script for this video is longer than most of my college papers and essays were, so I'm just gonna wrap this video up. Of course, I am always willing to continue the discussion down in the comments or over on Discord. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the other videos I posted recently if you missed either of them. I'll see you guys next time.